least another week. Josh Frydenberg joins us now in Canberra. Treasurer, good morning.
Good morning, Ali. Nice to be with you.
Nice to talk to you too this morning. We know that you spoke to the Victorian Treasurer, Tim Pallas, last night. Did you guys nut out a deal?
It was a constructive discussion and we are working through our options, recognising that the extension of the lockdown in Victoria is going to hurt families, it's going to hurt businesses, and we, from day one of this crisis, Ali, have been there to support not just Victorians but Australians with an unprecedented amount of economic support. But all along, our supports have been guided by our principles, and our principles are that any support, any measures that we undertake will be targeted, they'll be temporary, they'll be using existing systems, and they'll obviously be proportionate as well.
Why not just give them what they want? I mean, the issues here stem from quarantine, which is your responsibility, and also delays in the vaccine rollout. That one's also on you. You have to pull out your wallet here, don't you?
Well, I think, as you understand, Victoria has been subject to more lockdowns than any other state. It's actually Victorians who are asking the question, why does it always happen in our state? If you take that initial period where the whole country was effectively in lockdown last year, since then, Victorians have been subject to 140 days of lockdowns, whereas the average across the other states and territories have just been 6 days. Indeed, in New South Wales, the kids have been out of school around 30 days, whereas in Victoria, some kids have been out of school for 21 weeks. So Victorians are asking those hard questions of their state government. It's not for me to answer it, it's for them. With respect to quarantine, we are considering a proposal from the Victorian government, and we're considering it favourably for a designated facility. We invested $500 million in the budget to expand the Howard Springs quarantine facility, and we've seen, with respect to the vaccine, a increased speed of the rollout, with 700,000 jabs being delivered in the last 7 days alone. And the hesitancy that we saw in parts of the country, at least we are seeing more people now start to get the jab, which is of course welcome.
There seems to be a bit of hesitancy within your own ranks. We're hearing this morning that there are 9 senior coalition MPs who won't say if they've been vaccinated, including your aged care minister, Richard Colbeck. It's not a great look, is it?
Well, I'd encourage all of them to get vaccinated. I think it's important that the country comes together in this big task. And as you know, we were working with the states and territories through the GPs, through the various clinics that they've established, and people are now getting the jab. I had it in Canberra just a few days ago. Bit of a sore arm for a day or so, but nothing much more than that. And it is important that we all get the vaccine if we're eligible.
Do you think it's okay that these MPs won't say whether they are or aren't, or if they're going to or not?
Well, I'd encourage all MPs to actually get the vaccine.
But do you think this is okay that we don't know from these guys?
Well, I'd encourage everyone to say it. If that's what you're asking me directly, I'd ask them all to say whether they've had the vaccine, because MPs should be leading by example, and if they're eligible, getting the vaccine, and that will also encourage others to do so.
Okay. You did mention quarantine camps there. You're looking favourably at this option that Victoria's looking at. How soon can that be up and running? Because you've got people like Jane Holton, who's on your COVID advisory board. She's been pushing for this since last October.
Well, Ali, importantly, the designated facility that Victoria has approached us about to help co-fund is over and above their existing hotel quarantine. So the hotel quarantine will continue. It has been pretty effective across the country, but this is over and above that particular system, and so we'll have more to say about that very shortly.
We had great economic news yesterday. What impact will this have, though, on if the lockdown in Victoria continues beyond this second week?
Well, lockdowns cost jobs. There's no two ways about it. It dents confidence, hurts investment, and that is why we're encouraging, obviously, Victoria to provide as much relief and flexibility as they can. But what we did see in yesterday's national account numbers was that Australia is leading the world with a broad-based private sector-led recovery. Over the course of the March quarter, Ali, we saw Japan, France, Germany, the United Kingdom all go backwards in terms of their economic growth. Yet here in Australia, our economy expanded, and the economy today is bigger than it was going into the pandemic. There are more Australians in work going into the pandemic, and no other advanced economy across the world has seen that occur. So that's a real tribute to the incredible work of more than 25 million Australians.
It is indeed. And look, just before you go, I know you're from Melbourne, you're a mad footy fan. What did you make of the advice from South Australia's Chief Health Officer to fans who are going to go to the Crows and Collingwood match not to touch the ball?
Well, that was pretty passing strange. I saw the health officer say that she hadn't been to many games. Anyone who goes to a footy game knows that when a torpedo punt's coming at you, many miles an hour, you don't really have a choice as to whether you touch it or not. Otherwise, you get hit on the scone, and scones should be reserved for jam, not for hits on the head.
Oh, you've been working on that one for a while. I thought you might put your hands up and just go, not the face, not the face.
All of 3 seconds. Thank you.
Good stuff, Treasurer. Nice to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Great to be with you.
Alex.